So I'm in Studio 1.3 just messing around with some sounds, trying to create something. I had went live a little bit earlier today, and this was something different. It started out with a slower tempo, I believe somewhere around 84, and I sped it up because I wasn't feeling it at first. So I sped it up, gave it a different vibe. This song has changed about maybe a good 4 times already, and sometimes that happens, you know, when you're doing stuff and you know, you just ain't feeling it. Instead of throwing it away or starting on something else, I was kind of feeling the vibe and what I was trying to do, but the elements around it wasn't coming together. So this is what I came up with so far. It's just a 8 bar loop. So I have a lot of instruments, empty slots here because, you know, I just deleted some stuff and I'm like, man, I ain't feeling that. Let me delete that. And sometimes that happens, you know. Sometimes it happens. So just letting you guys know I'm human as well, and it happens to me as well. So so I'm gonna delete those things that I'm not using, or those channels that I'm not using. And I'm actually go and bring everything down because I don't like peeking. This is drums that I created inside of Battery 4. I mean, I didn't create the drums, but I created the pattern. So let's check out what this is. This is Battery 4. And I don't even know what name of this kit is. Okay, the R&B kit. So what I'm going to do, this is something different, you know, for me. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to merge that, right? And oftentimes, you know, when you have drums or kits or whatever, you know, because what you're supposed to do is split up everything. You're supposed to have a kick for one channel and the tambourine on another channel, clap, hi-hats, whatever you're doing, right? So that you can process those channels or those sounds separately, individually, okay? So, but you know, when you got a kit full of nice sounds, you just go, you know. But sometimes you know, in order to help the vibe move forward, you know, to get in the mood, you have to put in more than one element at a time. So if you are doing that, that's fine. But what I like to do, you know, I do that all the time. But when I need to process, because I like to take the kick out and process that on its own. So what I'll end up doing here is, so the bottom is my kick. So I'm gonna highlight this tambourine like sound, right? Hit M to mute it. That way we only hear the kick. And what I'm gonna do here is to simply bounce it out, bounce it in place, bam. So there's my kick right here. Now I'm gonna come back up here and unmute. After you bounce it, it just automatically mute everything in this particular MIDI region here. I'm gonna unmute this tambourine like sound and do the same process here. Let's undo that because it didn't do it correctly. And the reason being is because it muted the entire region. So you got to make sure that the entire region is unmuted. And that's why I did that. So I didn't catch it. So what I'm going to do here is just mute the kick down here. Let's mute that. Also that one. So now let's do that again. All right, so now I have my tambourine kick, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry, tambourine. Yeah, just call it tambourine. That's cool. Then this is my kick here. All right, so okay, cool. All right, that's cool. So for my kick, I'm gonna just add this is something I hate that Studio One does. So let's go up here and just make my input none so that I can see the meters here. So we're gonna change the view. So for my kick, what I want is to actually put a transient on there. Transient master on my kick here, and just slide that on in here. And I like to go to the preset punch and just dial back as I need to. All right, so now I'm going to go for a EQ, just a basic 4-band EQ. Or 5-band. So we're gonna make the low cut slope a little harsh. Turn this on. Something like that. I don't want it too bassy because it will create a muddy type vibe with the bass when we bring the bass in. All right. So basically all I did here was I came in and did the piano, and just like you see me bounce and place the other instruments, the kick and the tambourine here, I did the same thing for the piano just to avoid my CPU spiking down here. I didn't want it spiking or whatever. So, you know, I use the process of bouncing in place to make these wave files. And this is actually another piano. It was a bass line here. So if I could take my keyboard an octave down, so I went D, E, F, and create, or actually D, E, because the F is already in the actual wave. So what I'm gonna do here is also bounce this in place, and I don't no longer need this here, this region file. Now when you bounce into place, this is one thing that you might want to look out for. As you can see, this is something that Studio One creates in the beginning. I'm really not sure what this is and why this happens, but it happens. And so I find myself always having to trim the beginning of my region here, which is, I don't know if that's a glitch or if it's something that they're going to fix, but I kind of don't like that I have to go behind the bounce, you know, and clean it up, because I didn't put nothing there in the beginning, but it does that each time. So, you know, and that's what I have to do here. So if I bring that back, it's like something in the beginning, as you can see. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to keep doing that. So I'm not sure if that's something that Studio One is aware of, but if you ever experience that, that's just something that happens. You notice an extra click or just something that don't sound right, something you didn't program when before the bounce. That's what it is. So just so you're aware of that. All right, so so I'm actually bounce that in place, because I'm going to use, I don't think that, okay, so I'm gonna erase this here, and I'm gonna build something, I don't know, put something else on here. I just use one instrument at a time, and you know, kind of bounce it out and then change it and go to something else. To me, that's it works. That way my CPU down here is not working as hard. You know what I'm saying? When you have several instances of instruments going on at the same time, that uses, you know, some CPU. All right, so you want to be very mindful of that. Sound pretty cool, but I don't think it fits for what I'm trying to do. I can't hear it. You know, I can't imagine that. Let's see. Please excuse the background noise. If you hear a dog barking, that's my neighbor's dog. The dog is so rude. The dog knows that I'm recording, but it decides to just bark while I'm recording. I don't understand it. Nope. Can't hear no arps. Arpeggiator or arpeggiation in this song, so I hear another lead somewhere, or maybe a pluck. You just play around with some sounds until you find, you know, what you're looking for. And then sometimes it's good to play around with some of the loops in here. You know, there's loops sometimes. There's loops most of the times in here that will complement what you're doing.
Do you want my
Let's see, what is this here?
Said I told you I don't want no more. No.
Make it touch and jump, touch and jump.
Actually, all of these works, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna bring it in. I'm actually send it to the studio, send it to the sample one here. So I actually wanted to time stretch to what I'm doing, but I don't think I set the song up to time. Well, I did. I set up the time stretch. Okay, never mind sample one. I rather use Melodyne here. So what I did was and I can actually adjust it just like that. Alright, I'm just showing you several ways of how you can manipulate the pitch and or get it to where you want it. There's just several ways you can do this, which is pretty awesome. So what I'm gonna do here is bounce that in place. Like that, and let's bounce that in place. All right, so all I'm gonna do here is bring this down here so it can be on the same channel. Okay, so we're gonna throw a reverb here, but we're gonna throw it to the send. We're gonna send it, you know, just label that verb. So let's see what reverbs I usually, well, let's go to a plate. I like the halls, but let's go to a plate. Heavy reverb on that. Okay, so we're gonna pull up Nectar just to see how far we can go. We are in the key of A minor, so it's very important that you know what key it is when you're playing around with pitch shifters or pitch correctors. So we're gonna turn this on, and first of all, we're gonna select A and go for minor here. And yeah, there's two modes here. There's a mixing and there's a tracking. I'm not tracking, so I'm mixing. I'm in the mix mode. So okay, so I changed it up a little bit. I think this is a double version of what I was trying to achieve here. So I'm gonna duplicate this bass here and make it an octave lower. So this is pretty much all that I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna continue working on this and submit it. All right. Remember, at the end of the day, I say this on all of my videos, or most of them. Music is art. You are the artist. Paint your picture.